What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're still growing the beard. It's getting thick. Kennedy hates it, so we're just gonna keep growing it. This is what I'm doing. I'm growing the beard until she loves it or she accepts it, and then I'm cutting it. Don't tell her that. Okay, so before we jump into today's video, we are still doing the Bellac giveaway, which is going great. A lot of people got entries from key tags, stickers, t-shirts, hats. So this hat specifically is now the old logo. I'm gonna show you guys the new logo, which I'm really excited about. But this hat, we only have like, I think 3 or 4, maybe 5 left. There's not very many. And then the new logo, that hat is on the way. So hopefully by the next video, I'll be able to show you with you guys that hat. And then this shirt we just got in. So this is the new Coyote Direct logo. So I spent a lot of time working with a few people online, going back and forth, trying to, pretty much just trying to get a new Coyote Direct logo, because the original one I just made on my own. Like I grabbed a coyote head, added some shadows, 3D, different color highlights, and then I, made the Coyote Direct lettering. And it was cool, but it was basic, and I wanted to get a design where when you see the design, you know that that's Coyote Direct. It doesn't have to say anything. So moving forward, this is the new logo. This is the Coyote Direct head. And then this shirt is now available. We just got it in. It's in stock, ready to ship. And on the back it says 4 cams, more jams. I don't know if you can see it or not. Probably not, but because you gotta have 4 cams to get more jams. Anyways, so that's available on the website as well. And then any purchase you make, like if you need a turbo kit, Whipple, fuel system, oil pump gears, crank sprocket, even fluid, tires, whatever you need, that gets you entries to win a full set of Bellac wheels. Now I can get a lot of tires and things like that. The only reason why I don't have the tires on the website is because tires are really hard to get right now. So I'd rather people message me, and at the time they message me, I essentially give them an ETA rather than like a bunch of people ordering them off the website and I'm like, oh yeah, Mickey Thompson changed our ETA again. So I just tell these people up front before they order. So I do sell a lot of tires. You just have to email me, david@coyotedirect.com. And like I said, if there's stuff on the or not on the website that you need, I can get it. It's just, if you guys don't know, I built that website myself and I have to add the products one by one. I don't have like a programmer or somebody entering products all day. So that's all me in my free time that I have. I post products on there. Anyways, let's get into today's video. If that fucking bird don't shut up, I'm gonna shoot your ass. Okay, so I just did some maintenance on the Gixxer. Actually, it's got 600 miles, so we did the first oil change and cleaned the chain and lubed it and checked the tension on it. And let's give it a little start, actually, so we can hear what it sounds like. So, I know you guys don't really care much about that, but I just did some maintenance on it, and it made me realize that all my tools now are at the shop. So I think today or tomorrow I'm actually going to pick up like a small toolbox and have it in my personal garage, so that way I can do some maintenance on my car, which it needs, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, as well as finally, finally the upgrades are in. We're about to get to that. So, yeah, I'm gonna go get a small toolbox today or tomorrow and put some tools in there, just some basic stuff, just so I can do maintenance here. Because a lot of the times I'll either have the motorcycles here, yes, plural, and I'll probably most likely have my car here unless it's getting worked on at Joe's, coming soon, or getting worked on at my shop. So I just like having my car here, and like I wanna have like all my detailing supplies here, and I wanna have some basic tools so I can do maintenance and little things like that. So anyways, I'm gonna kind of go through what we got for the Tang-Stang. A lot of people ask me what oil I use, what oil filters, which I need to pick some up. Actually, I ran out. And a big thing is, I just had another email about this, but what oil drain plug to use, because the Ford one does come plastic. Now here, you do what you want, but this is what I've done. I've had the car since 2018, and it's been 7s a bunch of times. It's been 8s a crazy amount of times on the stock motor. And that whole entire time until today, and it's not changing anytime soon unless something happens, knock on wood, I have the stock plastic oil pan, Gen 3, and I have the stock oil drain plug, the plastic one. The only reason why, one, if it ain't fixed, or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And two, it's a plastic oil pan. So a metal plug and a plastic oil pan, those two things don't go together with me. Because the metal is not, you know, it's not the same material, so it's not gonna sit in there correctly no matter how well it's machined. And over time, it can, you know, the metal can dig into the plastic. I'm not saying it's going to or not going to, but the metal is gonna get a different temp than the plastic is gonna get. You do what you want, tell me I'm wrong in the comments, I'm just telling you what I do. I do change the plastic plug out usually like once or twice a year. Okay, I'm lying to you. I have actually never changed it. I'm gonna change it this time because I carry some spare ones at the shop, just, you know, if someone has a stripped one, or like people's cars come in all the time and they've changed them out and they're always leaking. I've never had an OEM one leak. So anyways, we're gonna do an oil change on the car. I just wanted to tell you that tidbit of information because I do get a lot of weird questions about that. And then the oil I use, I have always, even on the stock motor, use driven FR50. I used the OEM oil once, and then once I turboed it, I use driven FR50. You can get this stuff Summit, Amazon. I can drop ship it to you. I don't really make money on it. I'm pretty much just shipping it to you. There's not a huge markup in this oil unless you're, you know, distributing like thousands of it, and I don't. I literally just buy it for me and my customers. So I use driven FR50, Gen 3, 10 quarts. I go a little heavier because I have, you know, the turbo oil feed lines and oil return lines, and so there's, you know, there's extra oil to be had. So I usually end up anywhere between 10.5 to 10.8. So we have that. So essentially, that's the oil I run, and I just want to give you guys a tidbit of information on the oil stuff. But the reason why I'm talking about this is it is now middle of August. The goal is to go to FL2K. I'm gonna say it. I've been planning to go. I went 2 years ago. It was a ton of fun. Made it to the quarterfinals. Lost out to Doug Cook, Motion Raceworks Nova, in the quarterfinals. Super nice guy. And then they actually canceled it after that because it got rained out. All it did was rain off and on all week. But it's a really good time. It's the TX2K of Florida. It's a huge event. It's growing really, really big. And it is probably one of the biggest street car events besides TX2K. And it is a ton of fun. Victor over there does a great job putting on an event. And a lot of big Coyote names are over in Florida. And so it's cool to see all those guys because we only really see them at like TX2K. So it's fun to go to FL2K. It's like a 22, 23 hour drive with the trailer for us, but it was so much fun. I signed up last year, didn't get the car done. I'm signed up this year. I am registered, ready to go. We just got to get the car done. Now, what's funny is the car is in perfect, knock on wood, the car is in perfect mechanical condition at the moment. I'm gonna go over the upgrades we're doing and why you guys haven't seen the car on the channel because we've been waiting on parts essentially. But, so to go along with the oil, we got some new Hughes fluid for the Hughes Powerglide. That's all I run right now is Hughes transmission, Hughes bolt together converter. Available on my website if you guys do want to swap over. Or if you want to put together your own kit, or if you want to put a Hughes in a different car, I can get you guys that stuff. And I get pretty good prices on them. But Hughes has been really good with me. I love their stuff. But anyways, if you guys know, we had a dump valve issue at TX2K, and we don't know if it's the way we wired it, the way we tuned it, the way we plumbed it, or if it was bad dump valves. But anyways, Hughes stepped up, sent me some brand new dump valves, and which we really haven't needed. Side note, I know I'm talking a lot. We really haven't needed because Joe has got the tune pretty spot on where we can get up on the chip pretty quick. The only issue you run into is when it's like real hot and muggy in the summers and the DA is really high and the water grains are high. It makes it a little tougher to get on the chip. Now, cooler weather, you know, wintertime, this thing will get up on the chip probably 3-4 seconds. But in the hot, humid summer, muggy months, you know, it's getting real close to 6 seconds and you're getting close to that 7-second barrier. So we are probably gonna throw the dump valves back on. We got brand new ones from Hughes. So like I said, they stepped up. We don't even know if it was their issue or not, but they were kind enough to send me new dump valves. And then they sent me a bunch of new fluids. So we're gonna do oil change. Not in this video, we're gonna probably do it in the next video, but we're gonna do oil change, oil filter. We're gonna put all new trans fluid in it, and then we're gonna do rear diff fluid, and then that way the car has all brand new fluids. We're probably gonna change the plugs once, and then that way the car, like small maintenance items, I call those like small general maintenance items, that stuff is all taken care of already, ready to go for FL2K in October. And obviously the plan is we have to hit a test session before we go all the way to Florida. But like I said, the car mechanically sound, everything's good to go. We're about to change some stuff on the rear end, which I'm gonna go over. So we got all the new fluid. Huge thanks to Hughes for sending the fluid out, and the dump valves, we're probably gonna get those hooked back up. And then they also sent me this little Mustang. So now, as far as the suspension upgrade, so you guys know it's been about 2 years. We went from the IRS to the straight axle. No one's really done it on an S550 chassis. There's a couple out there. A lot of them are custom, and then TRZ makes this awesome kit that we have on the car. So what we kind of found out, without getting into too much detail, is the shocks I have cannot hold the power back there. And we haven't even really thrown that much power at it, but with the weight of the car and the weight bias of the car, the power it's making, the setup of the car, those shocks were probably good, but with us going to the next level and trying to turn the car up, they probably aren't gonna be able to hold it. So we are upgrading shocks, which I'm gonna show you in a second. And we also found out, without getting into too much detail, just with the way that Joe likes the car set up and with the wheelbase of the car, we are gonna add some extra adjustments to the upper control arms. So we'll start with that. So that's kind of what's been on hold for the car, is we've been waiting on the shocks. I got these Marty Marilat torque boxes, and so we're gonna actually make a new bar for the upper control arms to connect to, and this is gonna give us more adjustments. So essentially with radial prep and with how long the wheelbase of this car is, we have come to the conclusion that we need a lot more adjustment. So Joe's gonna cut the original ones off and put those ones on, and he's actually gonna put them up a little bit higher. We'll go into a lot more detail when we get to Joe's and do that stuff in the next week, but I just kinda wanna show you guys the upgrades we're doing. So we're trying to get some more length out of the upper control arms, because the wheelbase of an S550 is a lot longer than like a Fox body, SN95, New Edge, you know, they all share the same. So yeah, that's the first upgrade we were waiting on. And the biggest upgrade we've been waiting on is the actual shocks. So right now it's got AFCO radial valve shocks, which are probably good for like 13 to 1500 horsepower. You could probably even push them more, or you could, you know, get them revalved for higher horsepower. But with where we're going with the car, you know, 1500 horsepower isn't gonna cut it these days in these street car classes that we enter in TX2K and FL2K. You know, you got guys going, you know, 680s very consistently. You got Mike Reich, Brett LaSala's old car, Will Dugas's Viper, and there's a couple other heavy hitters that are, you know, they're building cars specifically for that class. And that's the class that I'm in, and those guys are very fast, very consistent, and they've got their cars down. Like I said, there's a few others, but those are kind of like, you know, the top front runners right now. There's, you know, there's a couple other Mustangs that are in there. Brian's GT500's up there. But essentially, where the class is at, if you aren't going 680s, 690s, forget it, drop down a class, because that's what it's gonna take to win the big street class. So like last TX2K, the one we just did, we were in the class below that because we just hadn't had enough seat time in the car. And what a lot of people don't realize is you can't just spend 120, 150 grand on a car and go run 6's. It takes months and months and months of testing, swapping converters, you know, trying different stators in the converter, trying different rear gear, trying different transmission gears, more power, more fuel, you know, trying to get weight off the car, you know, like everything plays a role trying to go into the 6's. You know, we haven't even pushed this car low 7's yet because it's been down so long, And you know, the last time we went out, we had planned to go, you know, start dipping into the 470s, 480s in the 8th. And that's when we realized, man, we don't have enough suspension adjustment and we don't have the right shocks to be going that fast. We could have probably made it work, but Joe and I know that if we can get the front half of this car figured out, this thing is going to fucking fly out the back end. We are not worried about 45, 50 PSI out the back end. That's not our concern. Our concern is the front half. The back end, you just turn up, it'll go. So in order to keep up with those guys, we've got to step our program up to the next level. And I believe we have like all the right parts and everything. You know, I got the best tuner, best suspension guy. You know, I'm pretty lucky, but we gotta get this rear end under control. So we're gonna add the Marty Merillat torque boxes, and then the biggest thing I've been waiting on, I waited 18 weeks for these shocks, but holy shit, they were worth it. All right, enough freaking blabbing. Look at these damn shocks. So these are for the rear. Super, super nice. I will tell you, you know that these shocks are built for high horsepower when they give you recommended settings for 3,000 horsepower. So these are Santos shocks. They're out of Texas. This is definitely a, I'd say a smaller company than like your Menskers and all the other brands, but, and nothing against the other brands. I mean, you know, Mensker and all those, they're on super, super fast cars. Some of the cars I named, they're on those cars, but Joe's had really, really good luck with these Santos shocks, and these aren't sponsored or discounted or anything. I just wanted to get the, I wouldn't say the best of the best. I mean, I think they're the best of the best, but I'd say the best for my application. So we got these Santos shocks. I want to say they're 19-inch. So this is just going to help us control the separation so much better. Like I said, these are super nice shocks. There's tons of brands out there, tons of people you can go with, tons of people's valving you can go with, but I pretty much gave Santos the weight of the car, the horsepower, the goals with the car. Someone's dying, I guess. Oh, they're coming down here. Sweet. Ah! All right, something's going on over here. This is like the third fire truck this week to come down our street, and we're like one of the last 2 streets before it dead ends. So, crazy shit. Anyways, Santos shocks, custom, mother. It's like they don't want me to film. Anyways, Santos shocks, pretty much the only upgrade you could get from this is going to like a canister shock, which I'll be totally transparent with you guys. These were with springs like $2,100 shipped, and the shipping's probably not that much. I mean, these are easily $2,000 shocks just for the rear. There is a lot more expensive shocks. There's different brands, different valving, well, you name it. But like I said, for what we're doing, we believe that this will be the best shock for my car. There's other good brands out there. I'm not bashing on anybody. There's people that buy brands and revalve them and sell them as theirs and all that good stuff, and I sell a bunch. But this, I believe, is what's going to help my car get to that next level. So we decided to go with Santos shocks, not sponsored or anything. I'm not even a dealer for them. So I paid full retail for them. And like I said, it's a smaller company, and you can tell that because they took about, I want to say 18 weeks to get, if not longer. That's just how stuff is, especially a smaller company like that. You know, they're taking orders via phone, via email, and they're knocking them out with only like 1 or 2 people. But the good thing about that is, you know, that these were, you know, hand built, hand assembled by the owner or by someone that's working directly with the owner. And when you call up, they know, oh yeah, this is for the S550, blah, blah. We have this valving with it, you know, try a couple clicks here or there. So definitely benefits to going with a little bit smaller company. I'm not saying they're tiny, I'm just saying I think they're a little bit smaller company than like, you know, a Mensker or a Viking or someone like that. But, you know, hit up Santos if you want. I don't have a discount code or any of that shit. I paid full retail, but I wanted the absolute best shocks that I could get for my car. So, you know, once again, we're going to do all the maintenance on the car, all the fluids. We're going to do the Marty Merillat torque boxes. Joe's going to make some custom bar back there to hold those in place. And then we got the Santos shocks for the rear. So that's, you know, the plan is to get all that stuff done before FL2K. I do have a new hood that's here, and I have the solid bumper. I want to get that stuff put on and painted. I just don't know if it's going to happen before FL2K. It's not very high on my list. It's definitely on there, but it's not super high on my list of stuff to get done. The rear end absolutely has to get done, and we have to go test the car because, you know, we're going to pretty much start from scratch again with the rear suspension, but that's what we have to do. And like I said, these guys that are going fast, it's just not an overnight thing. It's a lot of money and a lot of time. You can replace the money, you know, you can throw someone in there with a lot of money, they could build the car or pay someone to build the car, but you cannot replace the experience that it takes to get to go that fast. It takes a lot of testing, and that's why I'm trying to be up there with those guys. That way I can pass that knowledge on to you guys if you're trying to do the same thing, or if you're trying to go in the mid sevens, the high sevens. You know, I want to be at the forefront of this stuff so that I can help you guys achieve your goals. So without further ado, hopefully, fingers crossed, that the next video is at none other than Streetcar Joe's house. If it's not the next video, it'll for sure be the video after. He's got some big projects he's working on. He's got his car that he's finally started on again after him tripping over like a Sonic drive-thru or something and dropped his ice cream. I don't know, some bullshit, little baby. But hopefully next video, if not, like I said, the video after, we'll be at Streetcar Joe's house putting this thing up on jack stands once again. We're gonna pull the rear end out. We're gonna get those Marty Marilat boxes in. We're gonna put the new shocks in. We're gonna prime them. We're gonna get them set up, and hopefully within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're testing this thing so that we can get our asses to FL2K. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. I know it was long-winded and a lot of it was just talking, but I wanted to get you guys caught up on what's been holding up the car, because I've been making content, but we haven't been racing the car. We haven't been doing anything with the car. So we're just waiting on parts to come in. That's just part of it right now. And if you guys have bought parts, you kind of know that's the deal. Some stuff's in stock ready to go and some stuff's not. So we're gonna get those shocks on, we're gonna get the Marilat boxes on, we're gonna get some maintenance done on this car, and we are gonna try our absolute best to be at FL2K. So comment down below if you guys are gonna be at FL2K or if you can't wait to see us run at FL2K. And boy, I can't wait to screw up Streetcar Joe's floors again.